Well, the sight doesn't get any easier to see. What was once the Key Bridge partially collapsed on a cargo ship in the Patapsco River. Nearly 3 weeks since that disaster happened, the recovery effort has not slowed. And although you may not be able to tell by your eyes alone, the progress here, it is great. Hi everyone, I'm Jason Newton and welcome to 11 TV Hill. Recover the bodies, reopen the channel, and rebuild the Key Bridge are all the focuses of Maryland's mission to bring closure and commerce back to the Patapsco River. The Coast Guard is spending each day removing containers from the cargo ship Dolly. This is critical to refloating that vessel and removing it from the water. This week, the NTSB shared that it believes an electrical failure caused that ship to crash into the Key Bridge. Right before the Dolly collided with the bridge, the ship lost power. Hyundai, the ship's manufacturer, sent its own employees to the ship to download electrical system data and examine the ship's circuit breakers.
Of course, that's preliminary. It could take different roads, different paths as we continue this investigation. It's very early, but we're collecting that data. A voyage data recorder provides very basic information, not like a flight data recorder. So there isn't enough information on that to understand. It's really what was going on in the engine room. It's really a snapshot of the major systems on a vessel. So that information in the engine room will help us tremendously.
The NTSB also conducted additional interviews with crew members on the Dolly. That included asking questions of the officer in charge of the ship. A high-ranking U.S. Army Corps of Engineers commander spoke with 11 News about the Key Bridge collapse. Tommy Clark is in Sparrows Point with his take on the progress happening in the Patapsco River.
The Brigadier General tells me they have made significant progress in cleaning up the Key Bridge collapse. As we speak, cranes are lifting massive pieces of steel. Divers are underwater surveying the damage, and at the same time, they're calculating how to get that steel out of mud that's 30 feet deep.
But right now our focus is on this limited access channel and this section that is there.
Brigadier General John Lloyd commands the northeastern United States. He's been out to the wreckage site twice now since the bridge collapse.
I think it already looks different. Again, from when I was out there last week compared to where I just was out there. In the non-federal channel, they have cut a lot of the metal pieces that was taken over to Sparrows Point.
He says crews are lifting containers from the Dolly. Engineers are surveying wreckage underneath the waterline, and divers are making cuts so that a 1,000-ton crane can then pull the section of steel out of the federal channel.
There's a lot of compression and tension on that steel. In some cases, I would describe it if you stuck a spring down into the mud and bent it, and then you cut the spring, right? You don't know which way it is going to snap. That's what the divers and the salvage teams are facing with all the wreckage and the steel that is in the channel.
He says they haven't given up on recovering the 3 victims that are still missing, and that they are on track to open that larger channel to the port by the end of the month. We'll keep you updated, but for now in Sparrows Point, I'm Tommy Clark, WBAL-TV 11 News.
Tommy, thank you. Trade Point Atlantic has been a good neighbor to the port even before the catastrophic Key Bridge collapse. The Waterfront Industrial Center is accepting bridge recovery material and redirected cargo ships. 11 TV Hill contributor David Collins got a first-hand look at the operations.
A heartbreaking daily view for workers at Trade Point Atlantic.
I'm sad. For 10 years, I've seen beautiful Sparrows Point sunsets framed by the Key Bridge. That bridge is not here anymore.
Crews at the 3,300-acre industrial site are performing 2 key functions in the wake of the tragedy. This port is tied to the economic well-being of the country. For example, you're looking at the beginning of the supply chain. The dust is from grain that just came in by ship to Trade Point Atlantic. The grain is headed to chicken farms. This is raw aluminum. It too just came off a ship. Some of the material will be used to make your can of soda.
It's a hub that handles roll-on, roll-off cargo, as well as bulk and break bulk cargo at our current marine terminals. So what we're doing is we're ramping up operations to be able to handle more of that type of cargo.
Trade Point Atlantic has doubled its capacity to handle ships that were destined for the Port of Baltimore. The 24/7 operation is run in assembly line fashion and time sensitive.
When a vessel comes in, discharges its cargo, it's going out, and we have another one ready right behind it. Each vessel that has cargo discharges at a different rate. What rate does it discharge at? So when a vessel comes in, we know when it's leaving and when we know we can bring in a new vessel.
Trade Point Atlantic is located at the site of the old Best Steel plant. This canal used to bring in coal to make steel. Sadly, it's now being used to haul in steel pieces of the Key Bridge. Trade Point Atlantic set aside 5 acres to collect and process bridge debris.
Some of the larger pieces of the bridge that are very familiar. If you were passing from underneath the bridge, you could say, oh, that's a girder I passed underneath.
Trade Point Atlantic is using an $8 million federal grant to create more cargo space. A container terminal will be constructed in the next few years.
That project is currently underway. It's due to open in 2028. We're looking at ways we can expedite the opening of that facility.
Ships are anchoring in Annapolis before being called here. Trade Point Atlantic has also been able to hire some of the idled port workers. Reporting from Sparrows Point, for 11 TV Hill, I'm David Collins.
David, thank you. And you can see new photos released by the Unified Command, including a panoramic picture in the WBAL-TV app. And again, we have everything you need to get disaster loan help and support the families of the victims. Just tap News.